Hi, thanks for joining me today. My name is Sabrina Raley. I'm a truck risk advisor here at BDI in Seguin, Texas. This series is going to cover myths versus reality in the trucking industry. The goal behind it is just to get us thinking ahead. If we're going to go into that trucking company, we're going to start one up fresh. What are some things that we should know prior to even thinking about going down and getting our new truck or hiring a CDL driver and all the tentacles that are attached to it? So, thanks for joining me today. This is going to cover the common misconceptions and the truths behind running a trucking business. So, we're going to talk about myth one: buying trucks guarantees profit. Again, this is a big myth. Buying a truck guarantees me profit. And reality is high operating costs like insurance, fuel, maintenance, permits, driver onboarding cut into margins extremely. So success really does depend on selecting the right load, choosing the right routes, planning ahead, aligning with hours of service, and maintaining a good, secure cash flow to effectively make ends meet. So you could consider that profit equals planning everything. Plan out everything in advance to reduce those unnecessary costs. Myth two behind running a successful trucking company is drivers are easy to hire and replace. Most new people in the trucking industry believe that drivers can be found anywhere. And because there's tons of people in the world, we have plenty of options to choose from. The reality behind this is nope, it doesn't exist. Qualifying drivers includes understanding the driver's ticket, accident history, driving experience, how they feel about being on the road, how that being on the road affects their family life, and really all this, including does the driver feel valued within the company, can make retention very difficult for trucking owners and trucking companies. So keep in mind that competitive benefits, um, ensuring that drivers feel loved and appreciated, um, making sure you get the driver home and the right scheduled time are all necessary and good proactive matters to take into advance and have pre-conversations with your driver in order to ensure you guys are successful. Myth three that we can talk about is compliance is just paperwork. Well, the reality behind this is no. It's about DOT regulations, FMCSA regulations, IFTA, state permits, depending on where you're going and what area you're entering, IRP rules, and these are all strict rules and very time consuming. If an owner is also the driver, that means they're handling the business paperwork, wearing multiple hats, feeling overworked and overwhelmed. Noncompliance can result in fines, poor safety scores, and suspension of your authority. Keep that in mind. There is help out there for compliance, and you certainly can outsource it. But if you're going to wear multiple hats within your company, make sure you spend some time and brush up on what those are and ask other people for support if necessary. Myth four behind a trucking company is trucks only cost money when they break. What? I can't even believe this one was out there. It really does shock me for us to think about it that way. Reality is preventative maintenance avoids costly breakdowns, towing breakdowns, time off the road, and loss of contracts when you're in a contract for a customer and you're not able to make on-time service and on-time delivery. That really does put negative effects on your personal scorecard when it comes time to getting those contracts and those good lanes at the right time and the right destination. So regular service saves you money in the long term. Many companies can build strong relationships with the shops and collaborate together to receive faster service, more referrals, and better turnaround time when that maintenance is taking place. So you can align that maintenance with the time off to reset your hours and then get back on the road, and that can make a very seamless, smooth transition and can keep your drivers happy. Myth 6 is insurance is just startup requirements. The reality behind this is insurance is a significant reoccurring expense with monthly payments and deductibles that are triggered by events. Premium rises from accidents, your safety CSA scores, and claims consistently keep organizations on alert. The best way to avoid this is proactively training your drivers, constantly communicating safe driving practices with them, and keeping consistent records within your business. You keep good organized records when it does time for audits, renewals, or asking for a new quote to get better rates. It can help you present a strong application for any insurance carrier to review, and that strong application will help support that your trucking company makes the right decisions at the right time for the right reasons, which reduces that amount of risk. Myth 6, brokers and shippers always pay quickly. This reality is freight invoices often take 30 to 60 plus days to be processed and invoiced through. One of the biggest watch out is if there's a BLL missing, doesn't have the proper signature, it's missing a case count due to an OS&D. This can cause long delays and sometimes requires the driver to return to the customer to get the proper paperwork so you can submit it to get that invoice paid. Without factoring in the right amount of reserves within your company, you can take on major risk of running out of cash and covering your essentials. Mid 7 takes us back really old school. This way of thinking kind of jars us into an owner of a truck can also be a driver. And that is true. An owner operator can drive a truck perfectly. The reality of it is running a fleet and running a truck is a massive amount of business management, which requires wearing multiple hats to include dispatching, compliance, customer contracts, financing, and more. Really building relationships with the proper brokers, ensuring that you have good ELD tools and techniques out there for your drivers, and building good relationships with your driver, making sure that driver feels heard, listened to, and respected. So, running a trucking company is not all about driving, guys. We really have to think through it. Driving is great, but also you're running a business, and running that business requires you to wear multiple hats. Myth 8 is expanding the fleet with additional trucks and drivers can increase my profit. The reality behind this is Growth without detailed planning will increase your expense and increase your risk. Adding a truck too quickly can overwhelm your cash flow and cause failure. Adding a driver too quickly without having a proper equipment lined up and the proper lanes lined up to get your driver moving quickly and fast will cause that driver to leave you very quickly because they're just sitting still, which is causing large amounts of turnover. So it's great to expand your business. My advice is just have a strong plan and have a great timeline set aside for that plan. Well, this is going to wrap up my myths versus reality session. Some key takeaways behind this is some lessons learned throughout my 20 years in the trucking industry. And that's all around owning a trucking company is about business management, not just trucks. Profit depends on planning, compliance, and driver retention. Preventative maintenance and strong cash flows are essential in running your trucking company. Insurance, compliance, safety programs must be made a priority, and growth should be strategic, not rushed. If you'd like to chat about any of these takeaways and myths versus realities from my experience in the last 20 years of being a safety director or an operations leader and just thriving in that industry with each and every one of you, please reach out. Happy to have those conversations.